It's an afterlife created by an atheist who possibly doesn't believe there is an afterlife, strictly speaking. But I did want there to be a sense of sacrifice and generosity. Tansy, the ghost, has hung on for the guts of a century, for most of a century, to help her daughter when her daughter's time comes. And it's a big, she feels that she can't go away because her daughter was just a baby, a little girl, a toddler when she died. And there's something about that she won't let her just go away. So she stays, but she doesn't have the comfort of company. So she's lurking around, it's on a farm, and she's kind of lurking around the outhouses and the sheds and keeping an eye on her daughter and making sure she's okay. But she doesn't have the company of other ghosts to make it easier or even fun, or that, you know, outside a school gate as a parent myself, when my kids were very young, you know, talking with other parents. It's something you'd almost look forward to, that bit of fun. And if something absurd happened to one of the kids, you'd be talking about it and exchanging it, something they said or did or heard in school, you know. And there's a great, I hate the word community, but it seems to be butting at me and saying, use this word. So there's a great kind of community at the school gate. But I didn't want that sense of other ghosts keeping this one ghost company, because there's a heroism to her, I think, you know, in a quiet sort of a way. So she's hung on for all these years because I suppose guilt plays part of it as well. She can't help but feel guilty that she died, which is a silly thing in many ways, but still there. Yeah. And she feels that there's a lot of unfinished business. I think getting that balance between letting go and hanging on, you know. Photographs are ghost-like, really. And of course, you know, photographs, where you put them in a position where you look at them all day, they become bleached. You know, a bit like, I remember being at a restaurant in Spain, and there were photographs of the food you could order to save you the bother of trying to speak Spanish, but they were all completely bleached. So I just pointed at one. I had no idea what I was going to get. I got some sort of fish, I don't know what it was lovely, but it wasn't on the photograph. So photographs become bleached and faded, and that's frightening as well, because you're afraid that the image that you love will actually lose its place in your head somehow. So suppose we want to cling to the memories of people, and music is fantastic as well. As we get older as well, of course, we assign a piece of music to a time and a place. A lot of people remember what music was playing when they met their wife or their husband, or I sometimes almost go out of my way to associate a piece of music with an event, so that if I ever hear that piece of music or go to listen to that piece of music, I'll always remember the event. So yes, I think a ghost is like a memory, really, powerful memory, that, again, a bit like a dream, you wake up and you're wondering, was it a dream, you know? And it's that grey world between, I suppose, reality, whatever that is, and the dream, and probably the grey world in between them. We probably spend quite a lot of time in there. The back of the classroom, for example, asleep, drifting when we should be, strictly speaking, listening to somebody else, or on the train or on the bus, and half asleep, but looking out the window but not paying much attention. So I think that grey area is where ghosts lurk, I suppose. Children accept things that adults don't accept. Talking animals are no problem for children, and I'm often quite taken aback that adults who talk to their dogs can't quite accept the dog talking back, because I don't know, when I'm looking at my own dogs, I'm actually quite surprised sometimes that they don't talk back to me. And then there's the notion of life beyond humanity, you know, that other things have life, you know. So I wrote a short story for a St. Patrick's Day parade in Ireland, where the buildings of Dublin could talk and shout and roar. And children loved that, where adults probably bypass those bits because they know, of course, that buildings don't talk. I've written one or two, I suppose you could call them ghost stories for adults. And they're nightmarish. They're the type of things that, if they were dreams, would make you wake up feeling very uncomfortable and you won't be going back to sleep. But I felt that in this particular book, the ghost would be a very nice, gentle, benign, grandmotherly, motherly figure. and that there was no reason at all why a ghost should be scary, and that if the ghost had been a human, the personality of the ghost depended on the personality of the human. And I don't think if you've got a nice person who dies and becomes a ghost, I saw no logical reason why that nice person should stop being nice. Other than maybe it's quite fun not being nice, but in this case it seemed a reasonable challenge, because I suppose automatically you think a ghost should be scary, should be frightening, somehow intrusive, but actually I wanted her to be as natural as possible.